I'd say it's been about 15 years. I was living in Europe and I was working at a dance school, and I was kind of the resident composer there. But they didn't really have any. They didn't have a lot of instruments there, so I was trying to think of what I could use to make music with some of the dance pieces. And I was in Brussels, and there was an open air market, and it just finished raining, and somebody was selling all these glasses. I mean, maybe about this many, and so they were still wet. And I was like, oh, I think I could play these. I've seen people, so I just rubbed them, and they made noises right away. So then I bought all of them, and I brought them back to the school and started just playing with them and tuning them. You can be really precise with the tunings, which I really like. And then they just kept growing, and so I started with maybe like just 8 or 10 of them, and then they've kind of grown. They've got bigger. I had really large ones, this large, where I kind of I just sit with it, and I just move around, and my whole arms are wet. And so the water's juggling around, and it makes this kind of underwater, and it's very visual because I'm kind of moving with it. But the nice thing about here is that I have a space, so I figured I should bring a larger set and set it up, and I can play for many hours. Because it's hard, I don't have a lot of space at home, so these kind of just sit in storage or in boxes until I found the right opportunity to bring them out, or until I can afford a real home, I guess.
How long does it take you to set up for a concert or performance like this, given your tunings?
Well, it takes a while to tune them, but once you get the tunings, then I put a mark on them.
Oh, that's great.
And then, yeah, so as you could see, this 9 to 8 here, you see that mark right underneath. Mm-hmm. So the water, I just kind of fill it up there. Okay. And then if I want to be really precise, then I have a turkey baster, so that I can take a little out, put a little in, and stuff like that. So there's all these little tricks. I learned if you add a little vinegar in the water, maybe you could smell it. You can get more of those glissando and those harmonics that I was sliding. So there's all these little tricks you learn as you I've been doing it for 15 years, so it just kind of grows and grows, and I always learn new things. I started using the chopsticks, just today was, and then, it's just the right, it's not too hard, it's not too soft. So on the smaller glasses you need, this works really good for these. For these ones, they work okay, but it's nicer to have like a mallet like this. And this one's softer, but it's really nice too. So really, there's all these things you learn, and these really small ones, it's nice to use these, so you can do kind of, so you want a little harder for these ones. And so there's all these, yeah.
Have you ever used objects inside the water, the liquid, like rocks or glass?
Yeah, I mean it'll basically make the level go up. So one little trick I would do is I guess maybe this one would be good. If you play it and you put your hand in it, that one doesn't work so much, but it'll make the water go up enough where it goes.
But it wouldn't. I know it was so beautiful in some of them. You could hear the water vibrating. But if you had something like stones or something in there, you wouldn't actually hear them rattle. Or
Yeah, it would. It probably wouldn't rattle. Sometimes, did I use the wine glass?
Yes.
And that's
yes.
Yeah. So you could, you could. These didn't work that well, but you can use a stick. And you can see the stick vibrating. And that's kind of a nice effect, and it makes a little percussive thing. Yeah, you can play. You can play it the normal way like this, or you can get up, depending on how you wanna. And then like I was getting the chords. So depending on how hard you rub it and and move it, you'll get all these harmonics and things like that. So it works. And,
So how many of those were you playing at once?
Well, at the end I was probably 1, 2, 3. I was probably doing 6 or 7 at one time, getting those kind of tonal clusters.
And it's all crystal?
No. I probably couldn't afford crystal. They're just glasses that I found over the years. Yeah.
And the numbers that you have on them?
Yeah, those are ratios, and it's the tune. It tells me the tuning. So.
Is it just the tune?
Yeah, it's in just intonation. So you can see they're really small number ratios. This is kind of the root, the 1 to 1.
That's the amount of water as well as.
Well, it's
size.
yeah, kind of. So this is an A, and this is a 3 to 2. So for every 3 beats that this vibrates per second, this does 2. So this is in relationship to the 1 to 1. So it's like fractions, it's 2/3 of, but it's a ratio which is.
So are the glasses just regular glass or leaded glass?
Yeah, they're just regular glasses that I found. I don't know where they come from, so I can't. If I break them, I can't just replace it like you replace a guitar string, so the kind of the beauty of it is that it expands and contracts. And if I lose a note, well then I have to arrange each piece so I can use a different note or a different shade.
You couldn't just get a different glass and tune it to the
I
same.
can't, right, unless I'm lucky enough to find another one that's kind of in the same pitch.
Would the
So
tone be very different?
the tone will be, the more water you put in, the lower pitch it gets. And if you put too much water, like this one is kind of at the maximum here, it gets more muffled.
Stop speaking.
Yeah, because you want probably the perfect amount of water might be this 45/32, just kind of right here, and that part vibrates and the water stops the rest from vibrating, and that causes the note, the note that's the pitch. Yeah, so that's kind of how it works. I also, for my middle range, I break up the, like on a piano, you have a C and then a C sharp, and that C sharp is also a D flat. I separate them because they're actually 2 different notes. So I have a C sharp and a separate D flat. So if I play, so here's well, it's actually an A, but here's an A, and then after an A on the piano is an A sharp or B flat, so you can hear. So you can clearly hear this is the A sharp and this is the B flat. So so depending on, and then I have 2 different minor thirds. So if I do. Or I can do. So if I want like dark, sub-minor, bluesy, I can go there. If I want more of a gypsy kind of bright minor third, I go there. So depending on my feeling or flavor of the piece. So that's one of the nice things about the glasses. You can really tune them really precisely.
What are the brushes made of?
These are just, I think they're wok cleaners. I find them in Chinatown. Yeah. But they make good brushes, you can just make this kind of sweeping brushing sound.